Today is December 11th, and the Yankees have made the trade you've been waiting for. Victor Gonzalez and Jorbit Vivas, come on down. Did I say it right?
Yorbit.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy and Jake. Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, theme and hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talking Yanks with old John Boy and Jake. Talking Yanks with old John Boy and Jake.
Hello, and welcome to Talkin' Yanks. Thank you very much for joining us today and for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Appreciate you. Jake, how you doing? It's brought to you by SeatGeek.
James, Davis, what's going on, everybody? How we doing? Big trade.
Juan
Soto.
I wanted to tell you something.
Okay.
The other day,
Sure.
I Googled Yankees 2024 schedule.
Yes.
And that is the December task of a man excited for the season. So my whole world has changed.
Should have went to SeatGeek, seen the schedule there.
I could have done that, yeah.
Go check it out. They got 70,000 events every day, including exciting now Yankees tickets. Use code YANKS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Code YANKS, link in the description. We got to close some loose ends on the Soto trade. This is our third live until the Soto trade is completed episode. We got all the details this time. And yeah, dude, it's just changed the whole thing, man. I was proud to have my Yankees hat with me on vacation. Like, I hadn't felt proud to be a Yankee fan in a little bit, which is kind of a dumb normal characteristic anyways. But I have that characteristic, and I hadn't been. So yeah, Juan Soto has changed the whole dynamic of the team. When you look at the lineup with him and Verdugo, and we kind of initially assumed Verdugo would be in it. So that's a bat that stays too. So like the Yankees lineup right now, if you're feeling solid about Rizzo, if you know who Verdugo is, if Gleyber stays, like the lineup looks great right now. We can turn attention to pitching, and I think there's some fun bench combos because Trent Grisham should be there. And how else are they going to fill out this roster? And we got a couple tidbits on that today. We got another bullpen arm. But, man, just watching Yankee fans do well, I think DJ should lead off. Well, actually, Verdugo should lead off. Well, could you lead off Judge and then go? Like, the fact that those conversations are back on the table, forever the conversation was just like, this lineup can't hit.
Yeah. Now they can. Everyone's the best hitter in the world right now.
Well, two guys on the team are.
Yeah.
So that's the good news.
Cabrera's going to crush it.
Might not be on the team.
And if he is, though, he's going to be awesome.
Yes.
No, I am excited. I want to go to spring training. I think we might be planning something in the works for us end of March, spring training wise. But yeah, man, last year the Yankees were coming off Judge 62 homers. They were coming off first place, but they got swept in the LCS. But the whole conversations were this roster doesn't make sense. They got to make a move. We're waiting to make a move. Spring training was kind of like what? And then, man, I'm very excited for the season. I went and I looked at the schedule and then I was just like, okay, I can't really make thoughts out of this. But cool.
Right.
Open up in Houston. First 3 Thursdays are off days.
Early, too. I think March 28th or something, right?
Is it?
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was surprised.
Every couple times that happens, maybe it's in leap years.
And it is a leap year, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jess and I just received an invite to a November 2nd wedding, and we were both like, ooh, that's right on the fringe. Probably not. I don't know.
That's during the World Series for sure.
If they start the 28th? What day did this World Series end?
7th or something?
No. World Series ended early.
Oh, it could have gone to
like the 4th, and I think it ended the 1st.
The 4th. Yeah, you're right.
So this season starts a couple days early. So it's right there.
Wow.
It's right in front of us, Jim. It's right in front of us. Code Yanks SeatGeek Premier.
They just made another trade, and this is a fun trade because it's just like a depth trade. It's like not a crazy trade, but it's kind of when you like a lot of pieces on your team, you can make these sorts of moves. So they traded Trey Sweeney, a name that Talkin Yanks listeners are familiar with. Like, you know his name.
Pretty recent first round pick.
Yeah. To the Dodgers for 2 players. Now, the Dodgers signed Joe Kelly and Shohei Ohtani, so they needed to clear 40-man. They needed to get 2 players off their 40-man roster to make room for Shohei Ohtani and Joe Kelly. The Yankees were at 35 guys on their 40-man roster. They have room, which is a nice area to be when other teams are usually looking to clear. And the trade is Victor Gonzalez, a reliever, and he's going to go on the Yankees 40-man. Well, all these guys will go on the 40-man. Victor Gonzalez is coming over, and Yorbit Vivas. And Victor Gonzalez will be on the 26-man roster. He has an option and 3 years left. So I feel like that's very similar to when we got Wandy. Wandy had 3 years left and an option, I believe, when they got him for Talkman. Victor Gonzalez is a lefty. He has pitched in the big leagues. He's an MLB arm, some injuries before battling. And he will be a lefty in the Yankees bullpen. They might still be interested in Wandy or someone else because it's him and Matt Crook or Nick Ramirez. So those
I didn't know if you were going to say his name.
Those are the 2 lefties. But they get Victor Gonzalez, and then Yorbit Vivas and Trey Sweeney are kind of, reading it up, somewhat a swap, like somewhat very much a match, prospect for prospect. One's on the 40-man, though, and one isn't. So that's where it helps the Dodgers. And the Yankees get I think Yorbit's a bit higher because he's younger and has been more advanced, but there's so many
a lot of moving parts
context
in the
around
game,
that.
Yeah, that turns into a scouting game. So that's I want to start with Victor Gonzalez, who he's pitched in the postseason. He had in the 2020 World Series run, he had 8 appearances. So hey, he pitched in the World Series. He had 4 appearances, 3 in the CS. So like when this guy was going good, it's not like he was just the last guy in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Like, this is a guy who got outs as a lefty. He's 28 now. Like you said, he had kind of an injury season in 22 where he only played minor league baseball, and he had like 12 appearances. Last year, 34 games, a 4.01 ERA, 33.2 innings, 30 strikeouts. His career ERA is a little lower than that. Reliever ERA can be tricky, but this is a guy that passes the test. He's fastball slider mostly. There is a changeup.
Sinker, though. Right?
And this is a guy that you're going to see pitch for the Yankees this year. He has one option. I do think that is the most important note to the Yankees. Currently in their bullpen, Clay Holmes, Johnny Laza, Tommy Kahnle, those guys do not have options. Everyone else currently listed in the Yankees bullpen has an option. Which honestly is good. I think we've looked at the Yankees bullpen sometimes and we'd be like, oh, damn, sucks for you, Ron Marinaccio. You are getting optioned because you're the only guy with options. Right now they don't have that, and I think they like that. I think it's good to have the flexibility out there with how volatile the position is. They get a lefty. I don't think this rules them out on Wandy. It probably doesn't help.
He's much cheaper. Wandy's going to cost a couple mil.
Right. So, you get a lefty in the bullpen that you cover that, whether he's going to be your first lefty or second lefty. We'll let that be determined with how the Yankees are going to fill out the rest of their bullpen. We heard some Jordan Hicks rumors, the hard-thrown righty that got traded from St. Louis to Toronto. Talk about sinker-slider guy. That's a Matt Blake wet dream. Oh, he's back. I think the Yankees... What was the first offseason that Cashman did the methodical... We're going to do this, then this, and that's what they did. Was that 1920? It was crazy. He laid it out for the people. He was like, we're gonna get an outfielder, we're gonna get a infielder, and we're gonna get a starting pitcher. Or maybe it was reverse order. I forgot.
Was that when they got Cole?
But it looks like they were like, hey, let's address the lineup. Got Verdugo and Soto. We'll see. I could see them adding a fringe piece there. We could talk about that in a minute. But it feels like all the attention now clearly goes to the pitching. We know the Yamamoto meeting is today. And yeah, they're going to add something to the bullpen. This is going to be kind of the first test year for me. You know, thinking about when we felt good about these Yankees teams, there was that stacked bullpen that it felt like they had 7 guys at any moment that could go out there and pitch you an 8th inning. Right now, I mean, Canely, Laza, Clay feels a little thin on the top end, but they get a body. And yeah, the other part of this trade is just a prospect swap and clearing up a 40-man, which, I don't know, I thought it was interesting. Victor Gonzalez is an MLB lefty. Like, he could have a 5 ERA next year. He could have a 2.2. Like, that's kind of life of a reliever. I'm a little surprised with the prospect swap because if you look at age and some of the numbers at different levels, it does seem like our guy Vivas has Trey Sweeney beat. I do think there's we've heard Trey Sweeney's name said a lot. The online Yankees comment is he might have the best lefty swing in the organization. Do what you want with that. And I honestly don't know much about Vivas, but his numbers go toe-to-toe, if not better than Sweeney. So, but then you start heading into prospect scouting and who's going to pan out and how their body's going to fill out and their skill set and all that. And I don't know. So, for me, if the Yankees are willing to trade away a first-round prospect for a back-end bullpen guy and another prospect, feels like they're not too high on Trey Sweeney right now.
They got so many infielders. They also could flip Yorbit because he's on the 40-man, and they have infielders.
Yeah, there's definitely a chance he's just on the chopping block whenever they next need a spot. I have no idea. He's currently listed as the Yankees' number 10 prospect on MLB.com.
Yeah. And if you look at infielders, they got DJ, Oswaldo, Rizzo, Gleyber, Volpe. So I guess, and Cabrera.
Right, but you know they treat infielders as potential outfielders as well.
Yeah.
So if they,
well, I thought maybe we're done with that.
If the Yankees like a guy,
well, if someone comes calling for Yorbit, I think they're going to be like, okay, cool.
Sure.
He's not some new prize prospect for them, but
yeah,
22-year-old infielder. Like, I would be surprised if they're cutting him, like I had just alluded to being a possibility. But
they don't have to show random video on Baseball Savant anymore. I want a random Victor Gonzalez video.
Oh, come on. That's what this show is built on.
What the hell? Him and Wandy both 6 feet tall. Wandy way bigger, though. Victor's a skinny guy. 6 feet, 180.
Not about that.
I have the random video button.
You do?
Yeah, in his box, there's a list of links.
Oh, it's
under
just
player
tiny
apps.
now, I see.
Yeah, it doesn't look special.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so because I was looking at their height, and I was going to look at all their peripherals, and I was like, oh, same height, lefties. I wonder if they have the same release. I wonder if the sinker's very, But no, he releases at 4.5 feet, and Wandy released at 6 feet. So Wandy was kind of up here. He's kind of down here.
For that changeup.
Yeah, they both throw sinker changeup.
Well, more so slider from our new guy, Victor.
Yeah, 6% changeup last year. But who knows? That was up from 0 the year before that.
Matt Blake Masterclass.
I mean, they needed a lefty reliever. You had Crook and Ramirez in the bullpen. So now you have a MLB lefty reliever, and you get him for a couple years. So I don't know if Wandy's stats were as good as they ended up being when he first came over. He became lights out. I don't know where they end either, but I don't. When we first got Wandy, we weren't expecting him to be what he became. So I think the Yankees might be viewing Victor Gonzalez as the same thing.
Yeah, Wandy came over at 28. Sure, why not? That's the one thing the Yankees have won us all over, that they can kind of do whatever they want out there.
Go get Yamamoto?
I'd say go get Yamamoto. I think it's Yamamoto Day. The Yankees are meeting with him in L.A. today. Joe said he got a slack from Cashman, which a couple things seem suspect about that.
Joe doesn't use Slack.
Joe doesn't use Slack. Cashman's not in our Slack. But both those guys use AG1, maybe. Because it would make sense if they do. because you start drinking AG1 daily, and it can be a real difference in your daily health, because AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, and immune support. Ooh. And man, if you're taking multivitamins or something like that, AG1 could be the one-stop shop for you. Every scoop includes prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes for that gut support, magnesium, B vitamins for energy, and adaptogens to balance your body's stress levels. If you want to take ownership in your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/Yanks. They're in on it. That's drinkag1.com/Yanks. Check it out or click the link in the description. Yeah, we're probably gonna get a flurry of Yamamoto rumors later today as they have the meeting.
Probably going to hammer him in tomorrow's app.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully. Knock on wood.
Frankie Montas, Jake.
Are you, where's your percentage with Yamamoto?
100.
Okay.
He's a Yankee.
Right.
I mean, no. I don't know.
Right.
I feel the same way I felt about Cole after Soto.
Right. The way they treated Soto, the way they're treating Yamamoto.
Now, the number might go way too high.
The Yankees' smugness is out on Yamamoto.
Yeah. So, I am back to my roots, a spoiled Yankee fan. And when, it was Cole's free agency, it was like, go get him.
Right.
And the way they're treating this, and they just got Soto, it's like, go get him. So, I am expecting him to be a Yankee. That doesn't mean I would bet my life on it,
right?
Or your life, but I would bet BBD's life.
Damn. Yeah. No. I guess I want to believe all that because the Yankees have been smug as a bug in a rug about this Yamamoto guy,
giving themselves a tug.
I guess for me, there's still too many other factors, people are saying that part of the reason the Dodgers spread out the Ohtani money was to be able to fit in Yamamoto. The Mets and Cohen, if they want someone, supposedly if Cohen wants someone, he can't be beat because he supposedly has the biggest wallet. So I don't know. I guess I'm not there. The way the Yankees are acting, I'm all about it. And obviously Yamamoto in on that. But yeah, I don't know.
It's Yankees.
Okay.
Ohtani's there. Singh is there. Guy wants to be his own man.
Let's say Yamamoto does happen. They going to add another starting pitcher?
Yeah, Frankie Montas.
So you're on the Montas train. People have convinced you.
The
weird rehab, all of that?
No, we talked about it when I was going live until Soto was a Yankee. And we were just finding the 1 year under 10 mil arms available. And basically came to the conclusion, well, I think they just do Frankie Montas then. And then later on in that day, I think it was Curry or someone said that they're very interested in a reunion with Frankie Montas on a incentive-laden deal.
Right.
And they need a pitcher that's 1 year under 10 mil to round out the rotation. And it's Paxton. I don't think they're going to do that. It's Frankie Montas, who's been rehabbing with them, and they can maybe right their wrong with the trade if it works out. It was, who's the other one? Another ex.
Martin Perez.
Martin Perez is an option. That's interesting to me.
Hyun-Jin Ryu.
Be interesting.
And then, no, there was another one that been a Yankee before that.
Alex Wood.
Wood's an interesting one.
Who did you have that was a previous Yankee, not Jacob Junis?
I thought there was.
No, Kluber.
Matthew Boyd is your guy.
No, maybe I'm.
Yeah. I was saying it during the season, though. I think Yanks might be interested in. I think Frankie Montas and the Yankees both feel like they sort of owe it to each other to see what healthy Frankie Montas and Yankees.
What were we supposed to be?
What
That's
could
fun.
this have been? And frankly, it was just of the 1 year options, he was the most good the most recently. So, not saying I'm excited by it, but
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. Martin Perez, James Paxton, Odorizzi.
You know what the other thing we need to do is? There's more international guys. Imanaga, who started that WBC, still out there. Let's get him.
Imanaga.
And Yariel Rodriguez, the Cuban player that went over to play in Japan, he's like a swingman. He starts and relieves. Get him on the team.
Get him. Cuban pitcher. He had his first tryout. Who's the Japanese player you just said?
Shota Imanaga.
How do you spell Imanaga?
Imanaga.
That's really fun to say.
You had it.
Shota Imanaga.
You know, Saris likes him.
Obviously, different class of free agent and all that to what Yamamoto is age-wise and all that, but people like him. Can't say I've watched or done the full deep dive myself like we did for the Yamamoto app.
Possibly command as much as $100 million. You can get more than Senga.
I think his like comp is a lefty Senga. He's lefty, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's a lefty. Yeah.
Like after Senga went so well, his price went up.
It depends how much they're going to go over the tax. Because Yamamoto, if he becomes a real bidding war, now I believe they're going to go 300 and go over the tax. Hal's never really been cheap, and he said they were going to do that. But you get taxed every dollar you go over. Like I was saying that on one episode. It's not like once you break it, you get, okay, now you owe this. Go over as much as you want. Don't worry, you're only going to owe this. Like every dollar you go over, you get taxed. Like, what is it, like 70% now? It used to be 50. It's pretty high, I think.
They started making money again.
Yeah.
They lost money last year. Not
the punishments
not
after
lost,
that
but
are
they
only
not lost,
monetary.
but they had a down year. But I don't know how much they're going to go over. Like, I don't think they're going to have Yamamoto 300 and this dude 70 to 100. When you can go get like Montas or someone to be your fifth at $7 million with incentives that ride it up to 15.
But I mean, even okay, let's say it's Yamamoto because that's happening, and it's Montas.
Mm-hmm.
Would you not still be worried about the Yankees starting pitching depth?
Yes, but I don't think. But you can only have 26 guys, so like then they need to make some like depth moves.
I think it'd be other one.
It would be more like Juli Chassin situations where you sign a guy for to be in the AAA rotation through April, and then they can opt out. Who else did they do that with? Juli Chassin and
Gio Gonzalez.
Gio Gonzalez. Looking at some of those moves.
Okay. They did trade like all their depth.
All the four.
It's crazy.
They traded their 5, 6,
Except
7.
you know who nobody's talking about? Luis Hill.
I think he's in the bullpen.
Luis
I don't
Hill.
know. It was coming spring training. We'll see. Clayton Beater.
Reliever.
Yeah, and they outside of just the Soto trade, they lose pitching depth in general in the Red Sox trade. I guess none of those guys had any chance to start this year, but they also got Rule 5 picked. At least Mitch Spence is going to stick with the A's, I think. The others will probably make their way back, but those guys are more like 10, 11 on the depth chart, but still on the depth chart.
Will Warren.
Yeah, they got to get some arms.
Yeah.
If there's a AAA
Replenish the
pitcher that
depth.
does not get picked up. But we kind of thought they would do that last year at this time, and they didn't. And then we had Brito and Vasquez in the rotation, and Herman, who wasn't even supposed to be in the rotation.
We just found out last year was the appetizer for this year.
Didn't we hear something that like people are interested in Herman? I thought that got sent in our group chat. I didn't even realize he was like the Yankees to trade still, which I guess is.
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent.
Oh, that was just okay. That was sent to in the chat that like it was like the Astros and something else. I thought we were talking about that. Free agent, never mind.
Oh. I don't know about that.
It's gone.
Yeah, I think closing today's circle, Trent Grisham.
Well, hold on. If they don't get Yamamoto,
Right.
do they go get Snell or Monty?
Snell is a test of Aaron Judge's power. If they're willing to spend that type of money and they don't get Yamamoto, we'll find out how powerful Judge is. Because I think Judge is yes. I think the Yankees front office is like, no.
But if they don't get Yamamoto, they need to get a pitcher. So maybe at that point they go for like a 2-year guy.
Do they end up in the Dylan Cease conversation?
Or and maybe the
Bieber's always seemed like a Yankee.
Imanaga guy you just said.
Oh yeah.
Pivot to
Yeah,
him.
I think they'd pivot
Need
there
him.
if they needed.
You need to pivot because they need pitchers.
They need an impact guy.
He's not going to Kiyogawa us, is he?
No. Yamamoto?
No.
Imanaga?
Yeah.
No,
they're
Imanaga's
different.
nasty.
That's what they said about Agawa.
And that was a lie.
2006, different world.
I'm very in on all the pitchers that are like the top of their posting year.
Right.
The secondary ones scare the hell out of me.
Okay. Fuji, high leverage relief last year. Everyone said he wasn't going to be good.
He's an old guy, believer. Yeah. So go get Yamamoto.
Okay.
You want to talk Grisham?
Yeah, I think we need to. I think he's going to play a huge role on this team, especially in the first half. Whether it's starting versus lefties or getting Judge off his feet.
He'll probably platoon with Verdugo. It's really interesting platoon because their splits are both lefties, but Grisham hits. I don't think anyone's going to like the way Grisham bats, just to be honest. But he hits lefties and like Talkman, and Verdugo hits righties. So that means Verdugo's going to be playing majority of the time. When they do face a lefty, they're not going to sit Judge. They're not going to sit Soto ever. It's 1 year on the team, and he played 162 games last year.
They'll sit Soto.
When we get Boone on, we better say, like, hey, this dude's here for 1 year, played 162 last year. Don't sit him.
DH him a lot if you want, but...
Yeah, but with a lefty starter, they're not going to DH. They're not going to sit Stanton. So if you're trying to get Grisham into the game, it's when lefties pitch and you sit Verdugo because his splits versus lefties are not there. And that's odd to have two lefty batters be platooning. But that seems to be what it would be right now.
Yeah, you'd think so. Or just the whole concept that if Judge is going to be our center fielder for half or 3/4 of the season, or 2/3, or however you like to use your fractions, that he can play center field, but Judge played a fine center field, but it wasn't world-beating. It wasn't amazing because, he's being conservative with his body and his dives and stuff. And C, I mean, he is natural out there, but, like, we all watch Bader run and track down balls. Like, that's a different world of center field. And I think Trent Grisham is kind of that guy. Trent Grisham has 2 gold gloves. He won them. Oh, I'm on his splits page. The past 2 years? Or no, 2022 and 2020. So Grisham can go and get it in center field. He's another lefty. I think the thing that hit me and hit Joe's is, like, he's a major leaguer on the bench. Like, good Yankee teams used to have that. So that is a great step in the right direction. So when that 2-week hamstring or ankle roll happens, you're starting a major league guy who can give you a good month. Like, so I think that's important. He's the backup center fielder we've been looking for the past couple of years. And when Dominguez comes back, I don't know. I'm excited. I think for me, it's kind of like a closed loop on the outfield, right? Like, you're planning on Dominguez coming back, Judge, Soto, Verdugo, Trent Grisham.
Waldo.
Do you think the offense is done?
For the most part, yeah. They could do something on the bench, but I think Grisham kind of put an end to that. Like, before they got him and he wasn't part of the package and we were talking about it, we were like, well, they're going to need a bench. But they could replace Oswaldo Cabrera if they get someone.
Already might have.
Yeah, that they think they like better there. But I think Grisham's on the bench. I think Peraza, unless they trade him, but I don't think they will. Then he's on the bench, and Trevino/Wells. And Wells is going to play a lot more than Trevino if they're a platoon. So it would only be that Oswaldo Cabrera spot, and I don't think that's a big move. Yeah. I think that's like they have a power bat they like available to them.
Yeah, but I guess that's the thing. It would either be another like big shakeup, like how many times have we talked Gleyber trade? Like it seems like that's out now, right? Yeah. So that's something. And then it's I don't know. We've talked a lot about the Yankees having more depth. Still having your bench be Peraza, Cabrera, Grisham, like does deserve to be said. Trent Grisham did have a 198 batting average last year. Like it's as much as I like him in the role the Yankees are going to use him in. We know the bench gets tested, the depth gets tested, and I don't know. I guess I'm hoping for something else. It's just funny. Oswald Peraza has no options, and I do think they like him as Volpe insurance. Like if Volpe gets hurt, I think they do.
They would run Peraza.
They would run Peraza out as their everyday shortstop, which not a lot of teams have that like luxury. And Oswaldo, he can play everywhere, and I think they like that role on the bench. But I would also like an impact player.
Yeah, the Oswaldo spot's the only one that you really can do anything about. I mean, to have that defensive shortstop on the bench, and he can play the other positions in Peraza, that's a decent bench piece. There's bench and then there's depth.
We hope it's a decent bench piece.
Yeah.
Like, I've been a Peraza guy, but, like, we hope it's a decent bench
yes,
piece.
but there's
And
bench and then there's depth, Like, it's hard to do both really well because by being on the bench, you're not going to get that many reps.
I guess that's my thing, and we've talked about this with Oswaldo. It was you were kind of hoping he'd start the year in the minors and then he'd be the first guy called up, which would be the one other move.
Yeah, that's what I think is still kind of a better option to just, and I wish they did it last year, but he played like every single day, would be let him start in AAA, getting into the season and feeling good about himself, and go get an outfielder.
I guess
but
that's...
who's available? Like, who's going to take that 1 year? They're going to go give like Duvall 1 year or like Pollock. That's one that we joked about.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it's an outfielder. I think it would have to be an infielder. Like, in theory, you've already got 5 if you count Dominguez.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it would be, outfield, whatever. It's just a bat, really, at that point.
Right.
Because you're not pinch hitting for a lot of the other guys.
We've seen them kind of open for that role. Like, in the past couple of years, we've seen Carpenter and we've seen hitters only, Willie Calhoun, which is somewhat frustrating. But, yeah, I guess I am looking...
CJ Crone.
Done.
1 year, $5 million.
I mean, that's... You know what? Hey, it's off season. It's Christmas season. I want another, I don't want to say impact player, man, but like when DJ was originally brought in, he was a bench piece.
Yeah.
That you knew was going to play a lot.
Yes, but
of these bench pieces playing a lot, you feel okay about Grisham because he has a defensive skill set, worst case. I mean, you can kind of say that for Peraza, but at the same time, we're 2 injuries away from 2 of those guys starting. I don't know.
Well, what's scarier is Stan goes down. The DH that's fine. You can fill that up, but you're also adding another bat.
That makes Grisham instantly an everyday player for you.
Yeah.
And then what is your bench?
But you're just not going to spend that much money there, so I don't know what you're going to do on the margins or who you're going to get to come in and do that. You're going to get like a Justin Turner to come play every position. You're going to spend 12 to 15 mil on that.
Yeah.
I don't know they're going to do that.
I think it would just be funny. Okay.
Donovan Solano.
Trent, Joe's cousin. I don't think I believe in this, but if the Yankees signed a third baseman, I don't know who it is, just it's fake world.
Whit Merrifield.
In theory, DJ or Whit Merrifield would be in that DJ role, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't think it should be out of the question. I think the Yankees have so many needs. They're going to force all their attention towards pitching for a little bit, and good. But I think they're going to bring in another major league body. Oswaldo's still got 2 options. Trent Grisham has 3 options, and they're not going to use them. But
I only think they do that, like, if you were, like, talking about these guys, you're talking about, like, a Whit Merrifield or a Justin Turner, someone that's going to cost decent money. I think the only way they do that is if they use Oswaldo to go get a 5th starter somewhere, you know, to add to the, or a 6th starter, you know, whatever it is, to add to the depth. So then you're still not adding depth to the lineup.
We're still neutral as far
I
as
think they're going to go after Yamamoto, another cheap starter, and maybe bullpen somewhere, and that's it for now.
Eddie Rosario.
A winner. Well, that's the episode. Big trade. Go tell your friends about it. We got your bit.
Rafael Ortega.
Too soon. Go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.
Remember how good Ortega's spring was?
Nice.
Tim Anderson. Trey Mancini.